All right. Hi, guys. I hope we are doing well today. Nice to see you guys again. Yeah, I'll be just while we wait for people to join, we'll just continue. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we said on the Discord, communicated on the Discord that we will start today's class by working on some of the things I noticed from our submissions. It's commendable, the effort. Eventually we got 50. Yeah, I forgot to update you guys. So I think maybe 50 or 51 eventually. So, and I think we can keep the pace going that way. So it's nice to see the commitment, the zeal. I love the fact that people were having issues and then others were helping out. I think that's what the community is all about, right? So again, this is a typical work setting because at work also you should be able to communicate with your colleagues. So everything that is happening to you in this camp, either the stress or the deadline, having to meet the deadline, everything is a replica of what's going to happen in a real world setting. Okay. And I don't know if you guys noticed, excuse me, especially in this last project, I was a bit harsh with my responses. I mean, I was not answering questions straight up. So in the first class and second one, I would more like spoon feeding you guys, but now I'm not really going to be answering your questions like the way you want me, because I want you to think outside of the box and also try to get this done. So if any of my response has sounded harsh to you, honestly, it's on purpose. I'm not sorry about it, but it's just to really get you know that you can actually do things on your own. So yeah, that's that. We are getting matured, right? So this is week 4, so you can't expect the same style as week 1. So please get used to it as we go on in this journey. But it's been impressive, I must say, to be honest. I am really, really glad, and I appreciate you guys, because if you are not committed, trust me, I wouldn't be this motivated. So thank you so much, guys, for your time and the commitment. Okay. So today, we will start with the SQL. So I sent the video, the solution video. I believe many of us have seen it. In case you can check later. But what I want to correct very quickly, and also to show us 1 or 2 things alongside this, is how we can improve our presentation. So particularly our chart. I know we looked at it in Excel and I explained, but maybe because I didn't get to talk a lot on them, so many of us are still I mean, for professionals, you see the wrong use of chart, actually, even among professionals. But I just want us to have this at the back of our mind at this stage, so that as we go further the process, we will know that these things need to be taken care of. It doesn't matter if you use the same kind of chart in a dashboard or a report 5 times, 6 times. It doesn't matter. I know sometimes when you put in a chart and you are using it, there's this feeling that I'm using this chart, and then you just want to bring in another one, right? So if it's the right type of chart, come on, go ahead with it. The major thing is communicating correctly the result, okay? So don't be pushed into trying different charts, especially when you don't know what those charts are for. So the charts I've discussed with you guys, trust me, they are, if you check my own visuals as well, you would see it. If you check my LinkedIn and you see some of my visualizations, I don't do past pie chart, bar chart, column chart, and line chart. you are communicating, you are not a designer and all of that. So as you go on, you can, of course, try to absorb all this, but at the basic level, try to communicate as simply as possible. Okay, so I saw someone using a funnel. I mean, what are you using a funnel for? That was really surprising. But yeah, it's good that you are trying to play out around things, but on that level of sharing your result, you need to understand how things work. So we'll just quickly look at, I have my codes here, the query for the solution video, so I did not close it since then. So I'll be using it to create some simple charts and explaining some of the mistakes that I noticed, okay? So, and also showing you another method. So, I told you that creating your table multiple times is actually not best practice. I remember telling you that. However, I wanted you guys to master the art of creating tables and, and I'm sure many of you now should be able to create a table because you did it about 10 times. However, you necessarily don't have to create tables before you can connect your data to your Excel. I'm sure maybe after this class, some of you will be like, why didn't you show us this thing before? Well, I did that on purpose. So I'll be showing you another way you can connect. Yeah, I'll talk about that solution today. Yeah, I'll talk about it. Thank you. Someone pointed my attention to that. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. So I will show you how you can connect to your Excel without creating a table. So at the moment, I don't, if you check my summer LearnCamp and you check my, I hope you can see my screen and you check my table. So I only have the movies prep that I created, right? So I don't have any other table yet, but I want to connect this to my Excel. So let me show you how to do that. So if we are here in Excel, okay? So you go to data as usual, get data from database, SQL server, and then you know how to get your server name by now, right? So I don't know if there's any other fast way, but if you found the problem, so the point is just to get your server name. So I have my server name here. And of course, I told you that this database is optional when I taught you in the class. But now that we have more than one database, because I actually told you to create 2 new databases, right? From the latest data that we'll be using today. I've done mine. I hope you have done yours. If not, please do it now. Excuse me. So you might, in this case, excuse me. In this case, you might want to specify the database. I don't know if you don't specify if it's going to work, you can try that out. Maybe it's going to bring in all of the data, I don't know, but you can check that. But what I want to show you is this guy. So we did not use this guy at all. Okay, this advanced option. So you can click on it and then you would have this toggle. All right. So in this advanced option, you have command timeout a minute. This is optional. Just ignore this for now. This is what I'm concerned with. SQL statement. So you can actually copy your SQL code directly without having to create a table. So it means that the query that okay, for instance, let's go to our SQL query. So this guy now is supposed to give us the top 10 rating, right? The top 10 rating based on the number of movies, right? So this table now, instead of creating a new table, I can copy the query that populates this particular table, right? Or you can call this a virtual table because it has not been created yet in SQL, right? So I can use that query here in this option of SQL statement. As you can see, it's optional. So that's why we didn't use it. We're still able to because we have created our table. But now we've not created a table, but I want to write a query. So I can copy and paste my query here. However, you would notice that this particular option now requires a database. So initially, the database was optional. You could you could connect to your table without necessarily specifying the database, right? Do you remember? But if you try that now, it's going to tell you that there's an error. So now, because we are using this option, database is compulsory. So you must put the database name. And what's the name of our database? Where we have all of this is summer LearnCamp, right? So I'm going to specify summer LearnCamp. And once I do that, I can click on OK. So once I click on OK, you can see that I have my table. So just like I would have it inside of the SQL, and then I can load it. Okay. So you have the same thing. So this is a faster method, especially when you want to do multiple stuff like that. In this case, where you were having to create a lot of tables. Yeah. So we can use this option to load it. So now I'll be using this option because I want to be fast with showing you what I want to do. I wouldn't be creating new tables all the time. Okay. So first one is, I think many of us actually did well with this option, with this particular chart. However, I mean, what I expected here is a bar chart, straight up, no doubt about it. So what I mean by a bar chart is insert. Even if you check recommended chart, you will see a bar chart here. This is what I expected, or this one, either of these two. Either of these two. So some of us actually use this, which I understand why you use this, but this is actually a wrong chart to use in this case. I know I've told you before that pie charts are nice when you have three, let's say maximum, I think 5 slices, right? So it's good. And you can even see that Excel recommended it, right? However, it's not a good chart in this case. And the reason is because pie chart is meant to show the composition. I think I mentioned that, right? Pie chart is meant to show composition. So, but this is not all the ratings we have. This is just top 3. So using this kind of chart, you are trying to say that these are the only options of ratings that we have. So it's not a composition, right? So it's a wrong chart to use in this case, even though based on the number of dimensions, 3, it's good, it's looking good as you can see, but it's the wrong chart to use. Do you get it? So composition, that's the issue. So you should use a bar chart or column chart. All right, so let's go for the other one. Query 2. So this one says, what are the top 10 companies based on the number of movies? So whenever you see something like this, honestly, I don't want it to look like this guy is trying to make her mind rigid, but I don't even think of any other thing. I just think of a bar chart because of the way it comes down. You can easily see that this is the highest, then followed by this. And I'm going to make another comment on that based on other people's work that I saw. So just give me a moment to quickly get my I think I need to copy this guy somewhere. So let me create a sticky note instead of having to copy and paste all the time. This has to be closed. New note, sorry. Okay, so let me close this. So we only have this. So now we copy this guy. I think we copied it before, right? So what we need to copy now is just this guy. And go to our Excel, and then that's our server name. And then this guy, right? So again, the same thing. We can connect to this, and then we have our data, all right? So these are like the top 10, and then we can load it. And then you see. So this type now, you can use a bar chart again, right? This one, right? And I think quite a number of us used it. However, while it's okay, I mean, but I would still give it maybe 5 or maybe 6/10, because some of us left it like this. It's not really, it's stressful because we want to see the top 10. So I should see the highest first. So looking at this, the moment you look at this, what do you look at first? You start from the top, right? So you are looking at the lowest. It says top 10. So you should have the highest. It should be the reverse. And I think I showed you that, right? How you can reverse it. So if you are doing something like top 10, while this chart is okay, you need to ensure that you have it the right way. So this has to come up. And I think I showed you how to do that, right? So if you don't remember, you can check your videos. I'm not going to show you that. So that's the other comment that I have on that one. And also this is top 10, the same thing. So top 10 as well, the same thing. So this one asks for average runtime. So average runtime. So this is just one value. So I expected just a card, and I think I mentioned that. So I only expect a card from you guys, nothing more. Okay, and I think you know how to create a card now. I think many of us actually did that correctly. So I don't need to touch on that anymore. So here as well, I expected a card. So average runtime, you're just having the value. So, and here, which company. So these are the two questions or double questions. So as I explained in the correction video, so this is actually the most important, right? So this is what you are returning eventually. In a normal this is actually a wrong way to do this, having to have separate queries, like I mentioned. So probably by tomorrow, I believe, when we talk about subqueries, we will see a better way of doing this instead of having it like this. Okay. All right. So, but yeah, some, again, this is like a KPI, just a KPI card, because it's just showing one value. And then star by count. Again, once you see that top and all of that, some of us were using pie chart for these guys. I saw one chart and then it had a lot of something like this. Imagine creating where is it now? Something like this. Imagine creating a pie chart from this. Even you see that these guys did not recommend it. So, yeah, I saw something like this. No, I literally told you that this is, and I made that clear in the class. In fact, I told you that I was asked this in an interview before, right? So, and I'm surprised someone, I think 2 people, if I'm not mistaken, did something like this. No, does it even make sense to you? Like, and then the data labels was like this. No, this is even good. So this, like, it was like thousands. So it was like, so it doesn't look well, right? You don't even know which one is which, and so this is a wrong chart. Please, you shouldn't have more, at most maybe 4 or 5 slices, right? And then you should make sure it's composition and not comparison. Okay. What else? So this is top 3 again. So this top 3, a lot of people here, this one particular, they used pie charts. No. Again, top 3. You're only looking at the top 3. So it shouldn't be pie. It should still be your bar chart or your column chart, because it's not composition. I think in question number 9, which is this one, there's a mistake. Apologies for that. So it should actually have been average. So instead of doing sum, so here it should actually have been average. So for those who have watched the tutorial, the correction video, so this should actually be average, not sum. Apologies for that. It was an oversight. Okay, and this last one is also a card. Please, if you've not watched the correction video, even though you did your work every day, I mean, everyone actually needs to watch the video, in my opinion, especially with regards to some of the chat that I mentioned, but it's okay if you don't. But towards the end, please try to watch this number 10, because I mentioned some explanations about not, and also using this. I don't know what method you use in doing your consonant and all of that. But if it's not the same method, it would be nice for you to check it out, to also learn 1 or 2 things. All right. So that's all I wanted to share. Let me check my note. Okay. So we've learned something today. You can actually query, you can actually connect to your database by using the query directly instead of creating a lot of tables. And also we've done some corrections on the chart. All right. So let's go to today's session proper. I believe there's no question, right? Okay. So
there's a question.
Yeah, there's a question, sir. My hand is up, sir.
Okay. I did not see those hands. Sorry, apologies. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm not taking you backward. This is about today's class, sir. So I don't know, maybe somehow I missed the information about uploading the database for today, because it's in a folder. We have for sales, we have for schools. It's already extracted, but I need to know, are we to upload the CSV one after the other? Because I can see that you have sales and you have school on your SQL. That's my question, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in the, so if you check my sales now, I already have all the tables. You upload them one by one.
All right, sir.
Yeah. If you check my school as well, I already have the courses, enrollment, and students. Okay. So you still have some time to do it before we start fully. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, let's have you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry, I don't want to drag us back, but I used data labels for the bar chart, and I discovered that the numbers were so big and long. And I tried searching online to see if I could format it to probably millions or thousands. I don't know if you can just drop something on it on the chat later on the
Formatting, yeah, that's a very important thing. I can't do it now, and I can't assure that I will find time to record a video on it. Okay, please send me a reminder. Let me write it down. But if I can't make a video myself, I'll probably find something to, because it's important that you know that although in Power BI it's very easy to do, right? So I don't really want to focus a lot of my energy on Excel, because we can really do a lot of those things on Power BI, on proper visualization tools. But yeah, I think it's a good mention that. So I'll probably take one of the examples and then make a video around it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, let's have Winnie.
Yes, hi, Idris. I just shared a screenshot of an error that I keep on getting while I'm trying to import my data to Excel. I don't know how to really rectify it.
Okay. Can you ask on your Discord?
Discord?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
one of the mentors or someone who's going to assist you. Are you using a company laptop?
Yes.
Okay, I think so. I've seen the error.
Office laptop, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the error, and I think it might be because of that. Yeah, I'm seeing some kind of security. So I guess that's why you're having the challenge. But I'm not sure I can even check it right now. But I think that's why the error is more like security-ish. So you might have to take permission maybe from your organization, and then maybe you would have access to, because to connect, you need your Windows authentication, right? So literally, it's compute. If it's Office laptop, I believe there are some settings, to secure the device. So that's why you have in this error, I believe. So we can check this again, but I think that's just what's going on based on what this error that I'm seeing. Okay. But we can talk about it later. All right.
All right, thank you.
Sure, thanks. Okay, any other question? I think Mr. Emmanuel, I took your question earlier. Your hand is still up. Is it like a mistake? You can bring it down. Okay, let's have the last one, Mr. Francis, so that we can go to today's class.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I just want a little clarification based on the solution.
Ask questions, I'm sorry. Why are you guys talking?
So based on the solution, like the first question on we have to extract this thing. There's something I feel like I didn't get very well there. Yes, this particular question. Like let's assume we have our
second. You asking on this one?
Yes.
No. Have you watched the solution video?
I've watched. That's why I'm.
If you don't understand, ask on your Discord. This class is not for that.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to today's class. I believe everyone has loaded their tables. If you're having issues with your zip file and all of that, please, I sent a resource where you can extract your zip folder and extract the files from your zip folder. So once you have that, you can upload everything, and you should have something like my own. Okay. All right. So it's getting more interesting. Today we'll be looking at joins and relationships. Not the regular relationship that you are thinking about, the one that talks about your marital status. We are stay focused. So I'm not sure we'll cover relationships today, but we'll definitely see joins. And then we'll see how far we can go. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at some of the things that I have here and see. Okay. So let's have it in a view. So don't get it confusing. It's a very simple concept. This is one of the, or even the fundamentals of data, actually. This is one topic that either you are a data analyst, you are a data engineer, you are a data scientist, if you find any data row that doesn't have this joins as interview question, maybe you should run away from that job. Maybe they are trying to trick you. So I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but that just tells you like this is like the foundation of the whole data world. Okay. So joins are fun, so you can't escape it in interviews. I mean, guarantee 100%. Joins are fundamental concepts in SQL that allow you to combine data from multiple tables based on related columns. So why it's important is because you can't always have your data in one place. It's impossible. So your data needs to come from several sources, right? So let's say you are in a company now, some of your data can be on SQL server, some can come from flat files like CSV, Excel, workbooks, some can come from even the web, right? I think I showed you that you can connect to your web. So how many of us have heard of web scraping before? You can actually scrape data from the web. So data comes from several sources, right? So because they come from several sources, they need to bring them together, right? So that's where the idea of join and union comes in, right? So we're focusing more on joins today. So it means you are able to combine your data, multiple tables together. So we have actually done it before, actually, but you're going to see that soon, because I'm sure you are wondering, where did we do it? So join enables us to retrieve and analyze data from related tables as if they were a single table. So by the time you are done with a join operation, the table now looks like one single table, because you are bringing 2 or 3 tables together, and then it looks like one. It's called one big table. It's a data warehousing terminology. All right. So importance. So why is it important to join table? So number one is data retrieval. Going back to one of the examples that we started with, in a class or in a school, you go to a school and then all the students are like in a place. They are all like lined up, right, in a place. And then I need you to find short students in SS2. Sorry, I'm using short. Okay, I need you to find short students in grade 2, right? So all students are packed together. So you probably need to start going from the first row, asking them what's your class or what's your grade, and then she says grade 2, and look at her, she's short. Okay, you are included in my research. You go to the next one. You have to do this like line by line by line, row by row, column by column, right? So that's obviously going to be stressful if you have like a large number of students. However, imagine when you now have like a breakdown. So the students are in their grades, their classes. So instead of all of them joined together, like packed together, so you have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and then you can just easily find. So since you know you are looking for short students in grade 2, all you need to do is, where is grade 2? So this grade 3, go to grade 2, and then so you can see that it will be easier for you to get any student because the data is like separate, like that's called normalization, and so we'll talk about that later. So by the time you are able to combine, bring several data together, separate, like they are separate, and then you can bring them together, it helps for quick data retrieval, because it wouldn't have to like check all through like in the first case. It can just easily use those filters, those conditions to bring them together from separate tables now. Okay, so it's easier because here it knows I can find grade 1 here, or grade 2 here. This is, just connect them together. So that's literally that's how I can make you understand anyways. So that's how join helps for data retrieval. We'll talk about normalization later, so you probably get that concept. So it's still here as well. You can see normalized table. It's a way of breaking down a big table into several tables, just like I said. So instead of having all the students together, you can break them into classes, and this will help data retrieval. And also analysis, right? So you have several data, like I said, collected in different places, and you need to analyze. So the way you can do that is to ensure that they are first brought together, and then you can have a comprehensive analysis like you have here. Simplify combining data set and all of that. So let's look at the scenario very quickly. So you have one table containing information about customers and another table with their respective orders. So we want to analyze customer behavior. So we want to see, okay, what kind of customers are buying our product more? Is it male or female? Is it gender? Is it single or married? Is it, it sounds familiar, right? We've done that before. So you need to be able to combine those data together. So because this contains just customer information, and then this contains orders, right? So there need to be like a point where you can draw the line, like you can bring them together so that you can know, okay, this particular customer is actually the one making this order, right? So that's where the idea of join comes into play. And for that to be possible, for join to happen, there need to be like a shared identifier. It's in data term, it's called key. We'll see that. I'll actually send you guys a video at the end of this class to watch. I actually made the video a couple of months ago. So just to give you an understanding of some of these things, it's a short video, I think about 11 minutes. So you also get the concept very, very well. So for you to join data together, there has to be like a shared identifier called key. So it means there has to be something here that you can find in this other table for you to be able to join them together. And like I said, we've actually done that before. So let's see where we did that. So if you remember in your project, second week project, right? Your week 2 project. So I have it opened here. So those of us that did not do it, or if you did it, good. So if you remember, we had this supermarket sales. I'm sure you guys remember, right? And then we had these customer details. We had these product details, city details. I actually created this one now, like today, but it was not there before. I actually took it out of this place too. So who can remind me what we actually did in this week 2 project before we started working on this? What did we do? Who can remind me? Anyone?
We use VLOOKUP.
VLOOKUP, good. So, and why did you use VLOOKUP?
Because we had an identifier, which is the invoice number. We use it to bring all the information of customer details, product details to the same page.
Which is like you join them together.
Exactly, join them together.
Thank you. So the idea is you have, please let's stay muted. Thank you. So the idea is you have an invoice ID in everything. So you use that invoice ID to track other details. So for instance, this is the sales. So if I need to know which customer is making this order now, all I need to do is look for this invoice ID here, right? And then if I search for it, why am I even doing this kind of explanation? So if I look for this now, so I find this is the customer. So the customer is actually a female that is making that first order. And then what we did was just VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP is for Excel, join is for SQL. That's just simple. Okay, so VLOOKUP is for Excel, join is for SQL, right? So I hope that makes it easy for you to remember. All right, so if you check your sales data, the sales data that you have is actually this one. The sales data that you have is actually this guy. So if you take a look at it, you see that they are the same thing. So I would use that as an example because I know you are familiar with that already. And then before we look at more interesting stuff, okay? So I will go over to my SQL. I'm going to create a new query. And then I will not be using the summer LearnCamp. I'll be using the sales, okay? Because that's where my tables are. The two tables, the cities, all these tables now that I showed you, they are all here, right? So you can query them to check them if you want. So, but I'm going to start by querying sales, okay? So select sales from, oh, I don't know why I gave you the name sales, because the name of this one is sales, then I named this one sales. Sorry about that, but I hope you don't get confused. Oh, invalid column name. What's the name of the column here? Sales. It's not sales. So why is it giving me an error? Please don't start this night. Right. Okay, so let me drag this. I don't know if I actually showed you guys that you can drag your column names, but here it is. So you can actually drag your column names. I'm still having that error, and this is weird. Okay. So the issue is this naming. So I think I might need to resolve this guy. So let me rename this column sales colon. Let me just call it sales colon. Okay. So I think the name is okay, let me see. Still have an error. Okay, let me sales colon. I refresh my database. Interesting. Let me see. It's still the same. Okay, let me try another database. If you're having the same, rename the table, not the column. Oh, my bad. Thank you. So let's return it to sales. Then I should have actually just queried everything to check what we have. I was just assuming that we had sales. My bad. So I think this should work. So I need to change this back to sales. Sorry. I was overthinking. Okay, thank you. So we have all of this now, invoice ID, just exactly the same thing we have in Excel. So now, if I want to know which customer is making this order, are you getting? So it means that I need to use VLOOKUP, or I need to look it up. So like I said, the lookup here is what? Is join. So let's see how we can use that join to find the customer, okay, alongside. So it means the customer will come here, because after you use VLOOKUP, if you remember, if you did the project, you have a new column here that will be called customer, right? That will be, okay, you have two columns. So you are going to have the customer type and then the gender by the side. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So I've already done select all from sales. By now, you should know how to write your query in a clearer way. I'm still seeing some of us write our query anyhow. So by now, you should know that you need to make your query look nice for readability sake. So now, because I'm dealing with two tables now, right? So I need to use the join. Okay, so let's keep it simple for now. I'm going to explain the types of join later today. So just let's keep it simple, the basic one, which is just normal join. So sales join. So sales is the table, and then I'm joining sales with, okay, I forgot you guys did not remind me that I need to have comments. View sales table. So this one is select all from sales. Best practice. I showed you that before. And then view customers table. So yeah, it's going to be select all from customers, right? Okay. And then what we want to do here is join sales customer with sales table. Okay. All right. So now if I view my customers alone, I see the invoice ID. So this is the identifier. So we'll be using this guy together. That's like the VLOOKUP value as well. So I'll be doing sales join customers. It's very simple. Okay. So, but if you do this, that's not all. You need to tell like SQL that this is what you're going to use to join them, because they both have several columns, right? So how do I know which column? Just the same logic about VLOOKUP. So then you can say on, okay? On means use this guy. Use this guy here and this guy here. Okay. So for the sales, the name of the colon, because sometimes they necessarily don't have to be the same name, because data comes from different sources. So the name of the column might necessarily not be invoice ID, invoice ID. Maybe one data is coming from the US and they call that particular column something, and here is coming from Japan and they call it something else. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same, right? Like invoice ID, invoice ID. So whatever it is, you just need to know that name. So here it is called invoice_ID. Can you see? So it means I'm joining on invoice_ID equals, so it means where it is equals to the other one. So for the other one, which is customers, what is the identifier? It is also invoice_ID. So no problem. So invoice, you copy this invoice_ID. Okay. So once you do that, you are done. All right. So let me run this query. So if I run this query, I have an ambiguity error, ambiguous. All right. I wish, let me see if we can rename column. Can we rename column? I wish, okay, let me rename this column to invoice without the underscore, because I don't want you to see the ambiguity first. I want you to see the normal thing first so that you can understand first. So now the column is no longer underscore, it's now invoice ID, right? So this is now this. Okay, so there should be no error now, I believe. So it's saying invalid colon name. So let's confirm why it is saying that. So if I run this, execute. So I don't know why it's bringing underscore. It should not bring. Maybe I need to refresh here because I changed the colon name. I don't know, but it should not bring error. But yeah, the code is working anyway. So we'll probably figure that out later. So now you would realize that my invoice ID, my what's it called now? My sales table has joined with my customers table, right? So using this ID. So if we check the invoice ID here now, is equals to the invoice ID here. The invoice ID here is equals to the invoice ID here, which is just exactly as we saw with VLOOKUP. Do you get it? So it's more like matching. When you watch that video that I'm talking about, that I did, I used, when we were in secondary school and all of that, you have like, they draw an apple and then they write apple and then you're asked to match it together. So that's exactly what is going on here. So you find something here, you find its friend or its partner or the same thing as this and then you try to join them together. So that's exactly what's going on here. Do you get the idea? Okay. So let me see, question. How do you rename the column? Just right click on it. And I think that's even giving an issue now. So I have to take it back because I don't understand why we have this underscore. Okay. I think I know, but let's keep that for now. So while this is correct, let me now return this back to its normal self. So where they are the same. Okay. So this case now, the ID is this, the identifier is the same. Okay. So you can see that we're having an error. And it makes sense because if I ask you as the developer that which invoice ID is this? So let me ask someone. Which invoice ID is the first one? What will you say? Can you put it on the chat or anybody that wants to answer? So whose invoice ID is the first one?
Sales. The sales invoice ID.
How do you know it's the sales invoice ID? What gives you the assurance that it is the sales invoice ID? It's not in order. You can't tell. You can't tell. Okay, so that you can understand very well. Because I think I guess why you are making that choice, because we put sales first, right? So let me change it now to different one, and then let me bring this invoice ID, because this invoice ID is for sales. Let me bring it after, right? If you check this one now, this is for sales, right? But sales here, because the person who answered because sales was first, so she automatically said the guy here has to be for sales. But I'm showing you now that it doesn't have to be in order. Do you get what I just showed you now? Who was the person who answered?
Yes, I do.
You
Yes.
understand, right? So it doesn't have to be in order. So if because it was in order was why you said this first one was for sales, then you're wrong. So the answer is that you can't tell which one is which, okay? And that's exactly the problem that SQL also is facing. So it's called ambiguity. So you would likely run into that error a lot of times. I mean, so ambiguous. So it's all it's trying to say is that I don't know which one is which one. So in order to tell it, okay, this one is for this one, what you need to do is just write the name of the colon, the name of the table, and dot. Okay. So once you do that, I think this has to be underscore. So once you do that, you're telling that this particular one belongs to sales. And then you will do the same, customers, dot. So you're telling it that this particular one belongs to, so it's actually invoice underscore ID. So you're telling it that this particular one actually belongs to customer. And now when you run it, even though the two columns are the same, it's able to know that, okay, this one's for sales and this one's for customers. Okay, so it's an error that you run through a lot. Even after showing you, I'm sure some of us will still run into it. So that's it. Ambiguity. You can also be asked in an interview, what does it mean? So it means that it's not able to dictate which one is which, you know. So yeah, let's take one question. Mr. Samuel, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when I run my own, even with the underscore, it worked. So like both add underscores without adding sales or customers. It worked here. So I'm like a little bit confused. Like, how come it's running?
Can you share your code?
Yes, sir.
Who else actually did it and it worked? Anyone else? Or who did it and it didn't work? So let's maybe we should do that.
I just did mine now and it's not working. So I haven't changed the invoice ID yet. I use the invoice underscore ID.
Oh, okay. That's surprising that because I'm seeing their code now and it's like this, it's actually correct, but I'm surprised it's working. Do I have an explanation now? Not yet. Maybe I will think about why that.
But may I say something?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I think the thing is you should check the values for the invoice ID. The invoice ID values are actually the same, better still. So what's happening there is SQL might not necessarily might even be joining on the same table or like something, because like both the invoice ID in customers table is the same invoice ID in sales table. So there is little to no difference. The only difference here is they are in two tables. Yeah, both of them are in two tables. But like, I don't know. I don't think there's an explanation now, but
you don't know, but you wanted to answer us. Okay.
I just realized that like the invoice ID is actually like the same. So like there can be no distinction between them if he were to check the output that he got.
Yeah, thank you. So Mr. Samuel, I feel, did you change the name of your colon first initially?
Yes, I changed. When you changed yours, I changed. I removed the underscore.
Then you added it again. I'm surprised. I mean, it should be ambiguous any day, anytime.
Okay, I will add it again. And then I noticed something. The first column that I have for my own invoice ID, it has like the same invoice ID all through, like just one invoice ID. I mean, for the first column, after joining the tables.
After joining them?
Yes.
That's the issue. How many records do you have? Check.
Okay, let me check.
You have 1,000?
Is it 1,000?
Let me check.
You don't have to go down.
Yeah, I have 1 million rows. Yeah, 1 million rows.
You've done outer join. So there is something missing. There is something.
Okay.
So you need to change, make sure that your what's it called? your column names are the same, and then run that query again. And let's see. You should have,
all right.
it should be.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I would ask for an update soon on that. So as we can see, this is basically what join is all about, right? So same as VLOOKUP, okay? So in this case, of course, this does not make sense because you shouldn't have the invoice ID again, right? So you might want to just remove this. So to do that, all you can just say is, okay, let me leave this first, and then let me write the query again so I don't confuse you. So join customers tables to sales tables, leaving only one identifier. Okay, so you want to leave one identifier, just one. You want to take off the other one. So let's say we'll be leaving the one for sales, which is the first table. So it means I want everything from sales. Do you understand? So which is star. But again, when you use star, it's like saying everything, because now the table is just one. So in order to use star now, you have to use sales.star, which means like everything for everything for sales. Do you understand? Just the idea of using sales dot to identify that this one is for sales. So the same thing here, sales.star is going to bring everything out from star. It's going to bring everything else for everything from sales, and then comma. So what you want from the other one. So you can now specify what you want. So since you don't want everything, so I can choose that I want customer type, and then I want gender. Okay, so once you do this now, and you run your query, you'll be left with this. So that invoice ID is gone because you only specified that you wanted this two from this customers table, and then you want every other thing from the other table. Do you understand? Is it clear? Is it clear? I guess so.
No.
Okay, let me take it again. So this is, let me run this one. See what we are having. You need to identify the problem first before you say no or yes. So, what's this? Sorry. So the problem here is we are having invoice ID twice. It doesn't make sense. So you have this invoice ID is for sales, and then this one is for the customer, right? Because you've joined them together, but it doesn't make sense. So we need to leave one because they are the same thing, right? It's just going to be taking space, and all of this is not, it's not adding any, it's redundant basically. So I want to take off this one, right? So it means that I want everything from this one. And of course, I only want these two from here, just like you did in VLOOKUP, right? Did you bring the invoice ID from when you were doing your VLOOKUP? I hope the person that answered no did the project. So those who did the project, what you did was that what, in this case of customer, it was only these two you brought. Is it not? Is it not?
Yes, it is true.
Yes,
And
yes.
for product, you only brought this one, right? And for cities, you only brought these two. Did you bring the invoice ID? No. So that's just the same thing we want to do. So we don't want this invoice ID to be there. So, so how to do that is you want everything from sales. So, you know, star means everything. But if you just put star here, it means you want everything, because everything now is one big table. If you check the what I showed you in the presentation, by the time you join tables together, you have one big table now. So when you use star, it means that you want everything. So which is exactly what's going on here. But that's not what we want. So we want everything for sales. So in order to say that for sales only, I have to add sales dot. So just like I did here, to say that this invoice ID is actually for sales, not like it's specific, making it specific, right? So master this now. Anytime you want to specify that something belongs to a particular table, this is how you do it. Okay, so just note this one. So this sales.star means I want everything from sales. And then these are the two things I want from customers table, right? So because it can only find it in customers table. Assuming customer type was in sales, then I need to write something like customer dot to specify that this particular customer type should come from. You get the idea? So I hope that is clear. So once you run it, you'll see that your invoice now has disappeared. You only have those two guys from the customers table. Okay, so play around that. Let's take 5 minutes break. And then when we return, we'll see the types of joins that we have. All right, so see you in 5 minutes. In the meantime, if you have any question, I will be available to answer you. Thank you. Okay, there are two hands raised. Let's take Mr. Francis first.
Yeah, thank you. Now, is there a way we can dynamically do all of these things instead of we going through all of those steps? Like you just want to run it in one query, if you know what you want to do. Is there a way?
In what sense, sir? I don't understand.
Like no, what we want to do in the first place was because we want to join the two tables together, which is customers and this and the sales table. So, and in the beginning, and we first of all, the first step, we first of all bring them together. So while we're not going to the following next step, then we have to eliminate the customer ID for the customers table. So I'm like, in the first instance, we know that that's what we're going to do, and we won't be needing the customers ID this thing color. So is there a way we can run the code from the first stage that we are going to have the sales ID, why the customer's ID will not be included, and we're going to have customers in column.
Yeah, that's the only way. I mean, because whatever. Yeah, I don't think I know of any way, because whatever you want is what you give to the query to fetch for you. So I think that's the only way you can say. Usually you do, it depends, but most times you don't even bring everything. So when you join, I mean, when we do projects, you will probably see, but I don't think there's anything like dynamic way of doing it. So you have to always tell it, this is the column that I want, this is the one I don't want, and then you take it up. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure. But it's nice that you're already thinking of a way of making things fast for you. Yeah, I think sure that yeah. All right, Mr. Ike now. Mr. Isaac, eh?
No, sorry. Yeah, good evening, sir. As you can see, I have been blind for a very long time now. But
Don't be blind. Did you get your computer?
yes, I got it today. I got it Dell. The specification i7 16 gig 256 SSD. Not that perfect, but it's something close to what human beings can use. However,
That's good. Is it
hello?
good? Yeah, I
Hello?
can.
No, you're saying something.
Yeah, I said that's a good one.
Okay, so I just key in this evening. I am lost. I don't even know. I just rushed in. I'm coming into the class and everything is happening. But let me just be watching. Maybe after the class, I will just, I don't know. I can't even. It's just.
We've not actually not done. We started with I was just making. I think the first 30 minutes was just to correct our project, some of the charts that we used. So, and then the last 20 minutes were to just talk about joins. So you will still catch it. Just keep watching. If not,
I just want to watch. I want to watch today. Maybe then after today in the night, I will just try to get back again.
Yeah, yeah. You are not lost. You are still with us,
Yeah.
and we are. Okay. Mr. Isaac has money now. Okay, Mr. Bucci, do you want to say something, Bucci? I hope I got that pronunciation correctly. Sorry if I didn't. I see you're on mute. Okay. All right. All right. So we have 48 seconds more.
Yeah, so Mr. Idris, I got it right now. So it's fixed.
Okay. I'm glad you fixed it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, so let's go back to Right. So welcome back, guys. Now we're seeing types of joins. Okay. So I know we didn't see types of VLOOKUP. So maybe someone is saying, guy, let's just leave this thing the way it is, right? And not complicate things. Well, when I said that you'll be asked about joins in interviews, this is actually the one that you'll be asked. Like, they'll probably ask you what type of join. There's barely an interview that I went that they didn't ask me this question for all type of roles and all levels related to data. So you would definitely get this question for sure. And it's a concept that you need to learn and to master. It's very simple. So let's see them. So we have 4 that I've written here. If you check some resources, they'll probably list more. But I think these are, basics. I think there are about 6 of them, or but main these guys. So the first one, we have inner join. I hope we are here and you can hear me. So inner join retrieves matching rows from both tables. Okay. So with that table that we have, that we just finished with, we might not be able to really understand. So that's why we had to import another table, that school table. Okay. So inner join retrieve matching rows from both tables. So the idea is, most times, not even sometimes, what you have in this data, the matching, the number of values you have as matching identifier, or the identifier from this table, is usually not the same as another table. You understand? So it means maybe you have 5 unique identifiers here, and here you have like 7, right? So it means by the time you match 1 to 1 to another one to another one, 2 will be left. Do you understand? So how you treat those 2 left, those remainder, is explained by the type of join that you use. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So when you use inner join, it means that you only want to match, you only want to return those that they are matching. I don't know if that English is correct. So it means that if I have 5 unique values here that are 5 unique identifiers, you know what I mean by unique now. So 5 unique identifiers, and here I have 7 unique identifiers. So I'm going to look for those that match, right? So 5 of them match, 5 of them here. So when I use inner join, I'm going to return, my table is going to return 5. Don't worry, we're going to see example. I'm just trying to explain, prepare your mind. So it's going to return 5. So it's like just return only those that match. That is inner join. All right. And that was what we used a moment ago. So when you write inner join or you write as join, you actually get the same thing. Okay. When you use left join, so this is about the positioning of your table. So in this case now, you can see my, okay, you want me to use a whiteboard to explain better. Okay. Thanks for that. I almost forgot my whiteboard. Whiteboard. Although I feel like the example will make it clear though, but and also that video I'm going to send to you. But let me try to. Okay, so so let's assume we have I don't know how to explain this. Okay, let's use numbers. Very simple. So you have number 1, then you have 2, then you have 3. Okay. 3. And then here, this is like one table, right? One table. And then we have another table, table 2. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get it? So if I use inner join, of course, you know, this and this, they match, right? This and this, they match. This and this, they match. So if I use inner join, it will only return these guys wherever they match. Do you understand? So inner finds matching matching values or matching values. So where they match, that's inner. So look at it. It says retrieve matching rows from both tables. All right. So I hope that's clear. So let me undo that. Now, if I use left join deals with position. So in this case, order is important. So if I write this one first, what the lady that was trying to say, if I write this one first, it will take it as the first table, the table on the left. Do you get it? And then this one is the second table. It will take it as the table on the right. All right. So if I say this table now, left join this, it means this table is on the left and then this one is on the right. So what happens with left join? So in left join, it's going to return all the values that you have there. Whether it is here or not, it's going to return all the values that are here. Are you getting it? So it's going to return all the values here and then find the match here. So if there's any table, don't worry, we are going to see it in SQL proper. It's just an explanation. So if there's any value that is here and that is not here, in that join, is going to bring this one and then it's going to return null for this second table, meaning that I can't find a match for it. Don't forget, what you need to know here is that left join, everything that is on the left will come out. Anyone who did set in school, we understand exactly. If you did set, but don't intimidate us. We know. There's not everybody that did set. For that math students, okay. So don't worry, I'm going to see the real data and then you will understand it, I believe. So just trying to explain. So the opposite is right join. So for right join, everything that is on the right will come. And then if it finds the match on the left, good. If it doesn't find it, it's going to appear now. So if I do a right join now, for instance, I will have all of these guys come out. And then this one will match with this one. This one will match with this one. This one will match with this one. These guys will still come out. But in this particular place here, it's going to be null. It's going to be null because it cannot find a match for them. But all of them will appear. Are you getting it? So it means when you are doing left join, left takes priority. The table on the left takes priority. When you are doing right join, the table on the right takes priority. And then the last one is the outer join. So this one, whether there is a match or not, is going to return everything. Okay, so whether there's a match or not, is going to that was actually what happened to Mr. Samuel earlier. So I knew there was an issue with the join, and that was why I told him to check the the number of records. So because he used invoice ID and it was not the column were not the same. They were not the same what he did. So he just literally picked one. Don't worry, we'll see it. We'll see more details on that soon. So let's go over to this picture just to demonstrate. So this is actually what Mr. Babs is trying to talk about for those of us that did set in secondary school. So when you do left join, I want everything on the left and then anywhere they match, right? When I do inner join, I only want a place where they match. Okay, so wherever they match, that's what I want you to return. When I do right join, I want everything on my right and wherever they match. When I do full join, I want everything, whether they match or not. Okay, enough of the talking. Let's go to our data to see. So I'll come to my SQL now. So let me write here types of join. I was actually supposed to release that video that I told you about before this class, but because of the solution video, that's why I did not. Because I mean that would be too much. So we might not be doing a lot today. We might be finishing very, very early, so that you can watch that video to understand and grasp this concept, just in case, if there are no questions. So let's see the types of joins based on what we've learned. So, but first we need to query our table. So now we are working with the school database, okay? So we are going to the school database. Now for my school database, I need to change this. Now, if you remember, I told you cannot keep changing this all the time, right? So to be safer, let's try this for another time. So I can use this function. How many of us remember this function that I showed you, this statement? Use school. I'm sure you remember, right? Okay, so once I use school and I run it, you'll see that this has changed to school. So instead of having to manually come here to change it all the time. So now I know that I'm using school database. All right. So in my school database now, let me view the courses. All right. So to view the courses, I will do select all from courses. Right. Okay. So when I execute this, these are my courses. All right. So keeping it very small so that we can understand it. I didn't want us to use a big data yet. So I know it's a very, very interesting concept. Don't let me say difficult. So I want, please ensure that you practice this before tomorrow. You will know it. Because tomorrow I will not be waiting and explaining some things again. So that's why I will not be doing a lot today. And I expect that by tomorrow we already master these joints, because we'll just be applying them without, I will not even be doing any explanation. So please, I'm begging you. So this is for students. So just trying to view all the tables so that you can see. So we have 3 tables now, all right? So the first one is courses. So it means that this is the course ID. So like the identifier for the course. And then we have the course name. So this is more like a course table. So you have the details of the courses. Understood? Yes. So for this one, you have enrollment. So maybe like an exam, consider it like an examination, you know, when you enroll for exam. So enrollment 1, this is the student that enrolled for it. Just ID of the student. You don't even know the name of the student. You only know the ID. Okay, are you getting it? And then you have the course ID. You don't know the name of the course. Please watch that video that I will send later to master this. And then this is the grade of that student for this particular enrollment. All right. Now, this is like the main data, but it's not still complete because some information, as you can see, is missing. So if I'm interested in knowing who student 1 is, there's a need for me to now connect it, trace it to another table that will supply me. Are you getting the idea of joints now, where it's coming from? Because looking at this table, it makes sense to some extent, but it's still not well detailed. Do you understand it? So they've tried to break the table. It normally, when you join everything now, it will be a big table. But remember the example that I gave earlier, when you are trying to search for a student and then they are all together, it's more difficult to find. So that's why they decided to break it. So don't worry, when we do larger data, you would understand this concept, you'll see it better. So now, if you view this student now, here you can see student ID. Are you seeing it? And then now with this ID now, so student ID 1 now, his name is actually John Smith. Is anyone named John Smith here? So if you find your name here, it was a mistake. It's not intentional. Just a disclaimer. So the age of this student now is 20. So you have more details now about this guy. Do you understand? So if I wanted to know the age by looking at this one, it would be impossible for me. But I can actually use this ID identifier to link them up together. Can we do that now? All right, let's see. So the first one I want to do is to find out, okay, let me run this. So we'll be setting questions just as usual. So I'll be setting a lot of questions. So I want to find out how many students took, or the students that took mathematics. So please pay attention now. Students that took mathematics. Student that took mathematics. So where can we, the first place that we can find the information, like the place will be enrollment, right? Because enrollment is where we can find the examinations that they took. Are you getting it? So if I check my enrollment now, students that took mathematics, it's hard for me to find, because in this enrollment, even though enrollment gives me details about who took courses, I don't even know what course is here. Are you getting the idea now? So, and if I check just courses alone, I'm unable to find out which student took mathematics, because this is just like a dimension. This is just like a dimension table, just shows me the courses that they are taking. So this one is not giving me enough information. This one also is not giving me enough information, but they both contain different set of information that when I bring them together, then I can get the answer to my question. Are you seeing the need for join now? All right, I hope so. So what we have to do now is find a way, because here, if I view this one now, courses again, sorry, I keep going back and forth. If I view courses now, I know mathematics is what? 201. Are you seeing it? Mathematics is 201. So if I check my enrollment and I check my course now, so anyone that is taking 201 here is mathematics, right? So I can easily say for students that took mathematics, I can say select all from enrollment. So what's next? If I want to know mathematics, where course, someone talk, people are not talking, you are leaving me. Am I the only one here?
Where course ID is equal to 201.
Good, right? But this does not make sense, because 201, what's 201? Right? So that's even cheating. It's stressful because I have to keep going back and forth to check what's. So if I need for English now, I have to come here again, check for. Can you see the stress now? So let's one time do this together. So this is called, I can call this one method 1. Method 1 was stressful. By now you should know I like you to do the stressful one first, so that you can know the importance of the easier ones or the better ones. So what I need to do now for the method 2 is let's join them together first. Okay, so since we know that these two contain what we need, so you can see that the idea of joining is not just that you see your table and then you just start joining. No, you must, again, your analytical mindset comes in first. You've seen this over and over again. You need to know what you want. Where can I find the things I need? Okay, I can find here, I can find there. So that will tell you the tables to. So you know that you just see tables, I just join anyhow. No, based on your requirements. So now I will do select. Let me just do all first. So from enrollment. Okay. So and another thing, but maybe you might not know that now. Sometimes you need to know which one comes first and which one comes next, especially in the case where we'll be using left join and all of that. It's important. So if you are just using inner join, you can go anywhere because it will just pick the matching ones. But when you are using right and left, but for now, let's keep it simple. So enrollment by default, for me, I always normally use join first. I mean, by default, just to get things, then I will be updating it depending on my requirement. So enrollment join courses. Okay, so I want to join courses on, right? You're already used to the syntax now. So let's check enrollment. So we have enrollment ID, student ID, right? So we have student ID in enrollment. So student ID equals to, let's check courses too. No, is it student ID? No, it will be courses ID, right? So if we are joining enrollment and courses, because if you check courses now, you don't have student ID, so it should be courses ID. I hope you understand. Somebody talk to me. Oh, do you understand?
Yes.
The identifier that is in enrollment and also in courses. So course ID. So course ID. I think course ID is in both of them. So if I run this query, will it work? Anybody?
No.
So what's the problem here?
You have to do course ID dot course ID.
Good.
Course.
There's a name. There's a word for it.
Yes, enrollment dot course ID.
Yeah, I got it. There's a word for it. What's that word? You forgot.
It's
Ambiguity.
ambiguous, sir.
Ambiguity, yes.
Please don't forget those terms. They are important as well. Because if they ask you ambiguous in the interview, you will not even know that you know it. Yeah. So please, those terms are also important. Courses. So this table is not correct, so it's courses, right? So now everything is clear. Now, when I join this now, you can see this table is making more sense. So now, if you ask me how many students did mathematics, I don't need to first go and check which one is mathematics. I can easily use this. So now, having joined them together, I can use my where, just here now, where course. So it will no longer be where course ID, it will just be where course name, right? Since you know the name of the course, that's what you are more familiar with. Nobody cramps ID, but you know the name of the course equals to mathematics. Okay, so when you run this one now, you see that you have how many? We have 4. When I run this one, how many? We have 4. Do you get it now? So that's how 2 different queries. But you would agree with me that this is much easier than this, because here, imagine you have several courses. So you have to first go and check what's and if you need to be changing it, I mean, it doesn't even make sense, right? So this makes it easier because you can easily know, okay, I want for mathematics, and then that's it. So you see how joining tables together really help you to fetch information from 2 sides. Okay, so let me give you something to try. I've not given you anything to try today. So can we find the okay, very simple one. I just want to test something. Can we find the students that I enrolled in? I think that's pretty simple, right? Okay, but let me just give it a try. So students that enrolled in English. So students that enrolled in English. Students that enrolled in English. That's very simple. 30 seconds. You should be done now. Just copy and paste your code. And then anyone, how many students are there? Just tell me the number.
It's blank, sir. No.
No students enrolled in English. Are you sure? Let me check manually first. English is we don't have English. You tell me we don't have English. Sorry. Do physics. Sorry. Do physics. I thought English is there. Sorry. Do physics. Apologies. I thought English is there.
Just one.
Huh?
One.
Just one.
One. Okay. So let me confirm that in my thing. So just change this to physics and then you run it. Oh, okay, nice.
I'm thinking, shouldn't we do something like find the name of the students that actually enrolled for physics?
Okay, so find the name. I just want the name, only the name. Do you understand the question? So, now you are telling me one. Even that one, I know many of you, this is what you did. And it's not because you just look at it. What if there are a lot? How are you going to know? I expect some of you to use a better approach, which is count function, right? So, but I just pardon you because it's not a lot. If it's large table now, you have like 500. Will you be counting and tell me one? You need to tell me 500. You need to use count function. So, but now, what is the name of that student? That's what I need now. So I only want the name of that student. I'm not the one that said the question. It's someone among you that said the question. So it's not like, but I love the question. So what is the name of the student that, I hope this question will not be too hard like this. Who was that person? Let me know when people are complaining, who was that person? Who said we should do this question? Who was that?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. No, let's not do the question. I just thought of it. No. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Not yet. Not yet. We will get there. We'll get there. No, sorry. I just thought of it. I just saw it that it's not. No, let's keep it simple. Let's go bit by bit. Okay. So don't worry, guys. So what I want now is what is this same question now? What is the grade of the student? I only want the grade. I only want the grade of the students or students. I only want the grade. That's just the only thing I want you to return of the student that are enrolled in physics. So the grade. Do you understand the question? Do you understand? Class, do you understand? No one? No one understands the question? Okay, yes.
I think we just, instead of select star, we just select grade.
I'm not, do it first and tell me what you got.
Okay.
So, Mr. Endurance or Mr. Endurance, what I'm asking,
the grade is B plus.
B plus.
True, yeah.
You only got B plus, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do? Tell me.
Select grade.
Select what? Grade.
Grade.
That's all. The same formula as what you have here. Just do select grade. Because I'm only interested in the grade. I'm not interested in everything. Okay. So still the same thing that we've been doing. All right. So let's do another one. So can we find the students? Okay. So probably this will help me explain other concept. Can we find the courses? Okay, now you understand. I'm glad you now understand. So can we find the courses that were enrolled in? So the courses, so let me do this now. So if we check courses now, can you see? So you have 1, 2, 5 courses, right? 201, 202, 203, 204, 205. Now, if you check enrollment, you will see that there are some courses that were not enrolled in. For example, is okay, I think everything was enrolled in. Oh, I made a mistake while doing this. I wanted to take one out. I made a mistake. 201, 202, 203, 204, 205. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh my God. I think when I was adding this last two, that was a mistake. Okay, so let's do this one. That question will not work then. Let's check how many students from our database were enrolled in the course. You know, this is like a student database. So this is the list of students we have in that school. Do you understand? Do you understand? Who understands what I'm saying? This is like the student database. So this is where we can find the list of the students. So if you check the student ID, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you check your enrollment, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no 5. In fact, we have 7 and 8. So now you can see what I was talking about when we were checking that example on the whiteboard, that sometimes you can have something here and then you will not have it on the other table. Or you have it here and then you will not have it on the other table. Do you get the idea? So that's exactly what's going on here. So if you look at, I'm not asking you to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to show you, but I'm just preparing your mind. So if you do select all from student, you will see that based on our student record, the number of students we have on our list are what? Are 5. Student ID 1 to 5. But if we check the number of enrollment, people that have enrolled in a course, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's no 5, which is okay. Maybe number 5 did not enroll, maybe he was sick, or maybe he's not doing the course. But then we have 7 and 8. So that means there's a problem. It's either some people have manipulated the list, because if you are not our student, you shouldn't be enrolled, right? Do you get the idea now? So this how is also used. Joining your data together also helps you control, like help with validation of your data and all of those things in this context. So let's take another 5 minutes break, and when we return, we'll see how we can join these two data together, based on the requirement that we have. Again, when you use right or left, it depends on what your requirement really is. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. If you have any question based on what we've done so far, I'm here to answer your question. Thank you. Any question? Any question? So that means we understand it, right? Or you would go and check it later. Which side are you?
Check it later.
Big brother. Okay, please check it later. They are simple stuffs, believe me. More practiced for sure.
Sorry, I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I did something. I don't know if it's a best practice or it's normal, but I get nothing. What I did is this. I did something. I want to know the student they enroll both in mathematics and physics. So I try to select all from enrollment, join courses on enrollment, the courses ID and courses ID, where courses name equals to mathematics and a kind of conjunction, physics. But I got nothing. I don't know if I did something reasonable there. I want to know, maybe I put and to join both mathematics and is it a good language to use there?
Based on what you've done so far, do you think hand is the one you are supposed to use or not? I think we've done this a lot of times. And so,
Yeah.
so is it possible for a course name to be physics and mathematics at the same time?
Okay.
So what do you
or
yes, now we've done this like 1 million times now.
Yeah.
It's like the 1,000,001 time. So it should be all, because it's not possible for course name to be mathematics and physics at the same time. Do you understand? So you can change it to all, and then I believe you should get what you want.
Right.
But it's nice that you are trying to ask yourself questions. So far, so good. You will say that it's about questioning your data, right? So you have your data set.
Yeah.
What question can you? But by the way, for some of us who are probably interested in trying more stuff, the mini project that we did on in the weekend, there are a lot of questions you could ask that data. But I realized that there were some things I missed out on eventually that I even wanted to ask you. So play around it, ask questions. And that build your queries from there. So just like he's doing now, even though he used and instead of on or instead of all, it's still a
sorry, this can I ask a question again?
Yeah, sure.
I think I just did that now. I tried to use the course name mathematics or physics. I got an expression of non-Boolean type.
You wrote course name equals to mathematics or physics. Is that the syntax that we've been
or
using?
Equals to course name physics.
You see, look at I'm not seeing it, but I think I can see what you wrote. So you wrote where course name equals to mathematics, right?
Yeah.
Or physics.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Thank you. I've coded myself. I think I missed something. I've coded myself. Thank you. I've got.
What did you?
When I was like, I didn't put course name. I put equals to physics again. Instead of course name equals to mathematics or course name. I missed that course name. I just put or equals to physics. I've seen it.
That you found the solution yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't make the mistake again.
Okay, noted. No, I try to troubleshoot. That's
Yeah. Troubleshooting. The more troubleshooting, the perfect you become.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Can we triple join? Enrollment join course join student.
Yes, you can. That was actually solve the other question that Mr. was. So, but I didn't. I mean, people have not gotten double join. They will not triple join again. Let's master join. And by tomorrow, we join. Welcome back at 5 minutes off. So let's continue going back to SQL now. So before our break, we identified some problems, or not really problem, but just for us to take note of what's going on in our data. So we can see now that some students enrolled from our database. Okay, just like this. I remember when after some time, like 2 people joined the Discord, and I was like, no, I didn't share the link. How did you join? I started asking them, how did you join? Because this is like a breach, right? So you're not in the record, then how did you? So that means something went wrong. So that's exactly what's going on here. So we have our own student database, which is this one. Just trying to explain again. We have 5 students in our school, according to our record. But when we checked our enrollment, we saw that students 7 and 8 are there, and there's no student ID 7 and 8, right? So it means that something is missing. So now I'm interested in knowing, based on this enrollment table now, I want to know how many students are from our school. So let's create another scenario that, okay, maybe some students can enroll from another school. Let's just create that assumption. Or let's say it's a borrowed course, from another department, right? So they are not in our own student base, database, but they are from another school, right? And that's their ID. Do you get the idea now? So I think that makes more sense. So now, if I want to check how many students are how many students from among those who are enrolled are from our own school. Are you getting the idea? So it means that check the students and also check the students that are here. Then we know the students that are in our school, right? Because anything that makes you appear here and you also appear here, it means that you are from our school. But anything that makes you appear here, and then you are not here, it means that you are not from our school. That's just the logic, right? So let's try to write something. So I'm going to do students enrolled from our school. Okay. Again, we are going to do select all from. There are several ways to solve this particular problem that I just identified. So one of them, if you use just normal join, okay, so if you use enrollment join students on student ID equals to student ID. So again, ambiguity, so you need to write this here. And then you have students here as well. Okay. So once I do this, I can easily get, these are the 5 students now. So you can see that from all of my enrollment, even though when I initially check enrollment, how many enrollment do we have? How many courses were enrolled for? 10, right? Well, by the time I check this one now, it has changed because 2 students have been removed. right? It's still join we are using. We'll be using this example to see several things. So this one way. So now I can know that these 8 courses were enrolled by students from our school, right? Now, if I want to know students that are enrolled from other school, right? There are several ways I can find them. So I will just be using that to explain other types of join so that you can understand perfectly. So students that are enrolled from other school. So it means, it's a way of saying that if the student enrolled from other school, so it means that if it is not in our student table, are you getting the idea? So it means that check enrollment and then check students. If you cannot find any match, it means that that student is not from our school. So one way to do that is to, because here we are saying enrollment student ID equals to this. So what if I say it's not equals to? By now you already know this, right? That this is not equals to. I remember the Discord, the Discord knowledge test I gave. If I wish I could be commenting on all the knowledge tests. Some people were just choosing different answers. So this, I actually told you in the class that this also means not equals to, and as well as this. But anyways, that's not what we want to do here. So if I use this not equals to and I run this query now, I should be able to get interesting. No, let me reverse it. This is the wrong way to do that. Sorry. So let me just stick to the other method that I wanted to use before. So now students that are enrolled from other school. So enrollment, if we check enrollment is the one that contains all our students, right? All our enrollment, whether you are from our school or you are not from our school. While students is the one that contains the ones that are from our school. So now if I use a left join here, so what, based on our explanation with the whiteboard, what it's going to do is that it's going to bring everything that is on my left. Are you getting me? It's going to bring everything that is on my left. So here, it's going to bring all the students that are in enrollment. And don't forget, enrollment includes students that are not from our school. Are you getting the idea? So it's going to bring all the students from enrollment, and then it's going to join them with the students. So now the question is, what of students that are not from our school? What's going to happen to them? Let's take a look together. So when I run this query now and execute, you will see that all the students 1, student 2, student 3 that are found, it found the student ID match. But when it got to student 7 and 8, what happened? It returned a null, because it's saying that even though this student ID is present in enrollment, I can't find it in this student table. Do you understand? So whenever you make a join and then you get a null like this, it tells you about what is here and what is not here. Do you understand what I was explaining, what we're trying to explain with the whiteboard? So when you use a left join, it returns everything on your left. So you can see all the students came out that are in our enrollment. But when we checked on the right, because some students, we don't have the students. So we see no. So from here now, you can easily catch students that are not from our school. Okay, so all you need to do is do what? Say where, based on this record now, where will it work? Which one will you do first? Let me see. Or should it be a subquery? Let me confirm. So where's student ID? So student ID for students now. Hold on. I want to check if it will work. Even me, I'm not sure. It's not. Okay, it worked. So let me explain that. So let me run this again. You understand up to this point, I believe. So now, if I ask you now, how can we know students that are not in our school that enrolled? It's very simple. From here, these are the students that their ID is null. Now, we have 2 student ID. We have one here, we have one here. As you already know, this one is for enrollment, right? This one is for what? It's for the students. Do you get it? Based on how we are joining them. So this one comes first, this one comes next. So left and right. So this student ID colon here is actually belonging to this student. So if I want to know students that are not enrolled, these are the students, the one that they are null this year. So I'm just trying to show you something else here that you can use that is null. So I will say where this guy now is not null. I know I've never done this before, so just know that you can do something like this. It's not null. You saw not in the correction video. I'm not sure I've shown you this null before, but when you want to check whether something is null or not, this is how you do it. So if I want to do is null now, then any value, wherever this value is null, is going to return it. If I do not null, then it's like the negation of it. So if I do where this value is null now, it's only going to return these two, because that's the only place that the value is null. You know what null means, right? Blank. So once I run this query now, I'm only going to get those two. So I can use this to fish out the students that are enrolled but are not from our school. Okay, so this is left join. So let's try to reverse it. It's still, again, I'm explaining the same concept, but doing it in a different way, so you can see what's going to happen. So this is another method now I want to try. I know right now a lot of people are lost. Even me. But we'll watch this together again. That's why I said I will not be doing a lot today. I will stop soon. So now let's reverse it. Let me try to do right join. Okay. So I'm going to change it to a right join and let's see what happens. So let me take this off first. So when I do a right join, see the result now. We have all the records, right? All the records for the student ID. Can you see it? But please, you need to go and practice these things and watch what is happening. Now we have all the records for student ID from the student side because we said right join. So the right table is taking priority. Get it? So now you would notice that when you check the student ID from enrollment, you don't have 7 and 8. Because 7 and 8, this is the one on the right is the one taking priority. And 7 and 8 is not in the one on the right. However, there is a particular student, which is student 5. If you check enrollment, there is no student 5 there. So it means that student 5 did not take any exam. Do you get the idea? So student 5 did not take any, this is the meaning, because student 5 is among our students, it's in the student database. However, there is no record of student 5 taking any examination. So when you have a question like, which of our students didn't take any examination? So it means that for our student not to take an examination, it means that student is in our database, but is not in the examination or enrollment list. Are you getting it? So in that case now, it means that I need everything from my student database and relate it with those that did not take exam. So by checking, so in this case, I might want to use a right join, but forget those concepts and what I mean, those explanations, those are more from the business side. I'm only using them. And then again, this is something you can relate with students and exam and all of that. But the point is understanding how right join works, understanding how left join works. So right join is going to bring everything on the right and then check where it relates with the left table. So anywhere, any value that is not appearing on the left table is going to come as null. Okay, and vice versa for right, for left join. So I think I will stop here because I know it's a lot already. It's a very simple concept, trust me. Once you grasp this, you just need to practice it by yourself. So play with them. Play with try join, look at the results, set expectation. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. Once I join this and this, I should get this. So run it and see. If you don't get what you expect, check it. Why am I getting the wrong thing? I when you spend some time on this, you will master it. Okay. There's a reason why they ask in all interviews. It's not really like a walkover. Although when you now eventually know it, you will see that it's so easy. I mean, it's so simple. But it's a foundation, it's fundamental, like I started the whole class telling you. In any data, what's it called? Data, because this is a data modeling concept, is like the hardest part, because it has to do with bringing data. And once you miss it here, like you can see Mr. Agbega earlier, he started having 1 million rows, just simple mix up. So if you, once you miss it here like this, all the analysis that you will do will be rubbish because something's already wrong with the data, right? So it's a very, very, very important concept. Please, if you want us to even take a break, maybe skip one day class to master, I wouldn't mind, but you must know this, like you really must. Because when we get to Power BI, we'll be doing the same thing, modeling data together. We'll no longer be doing one table anymore. So now I'll be sending you files, zip files. So just to prepare your mind. So please buckle up. If you need to watch the video again, watch it. Practice a lot, and I think you would master it for sure. So I think I have some questions. That's all for today. Please, who is making that noise, that sound? So I think someone said students who did not enroll for an examination but are in our school. Are you asking the question or you are trying to confirm something? Okay. Kindly share a carbon copy of the questions for practice. The questions are there, or I should bring recommendations for you. Is that what you're saying? But of course, when you watch the video, you will see the questions. I'm having them in comments. So, what else? Okay, that emotional damage. Well, don't worry. You guys will become masters of this. I'm sure. You guys have been doing well so far. So is there any other question before we call it a day?
Hi, I just wanted to confirm for this last question, which of our students didn't take any exam? If we are to do the where statement, so now it will be where enrollment, the student ID is not, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not complete that. So let me complete that. So what he's saying is, because the question now, it's not just about stopping and join, or don't forget the question, where we are coming from. We want to check the question is the one that dictates what method you are going to do or use, or what join you are going to use. So the question here says, which of our students didn't take any exam? And like I said, how do you know which of our students that didn't take exam? It means that the student is in our student database, but is not in our enrollment database, right? So it means that I did not take any exam. So if you check here now, based on what we did now, you will see that this guy is the only guy that doesn't have any information in the error, because from here to here is the enrollment side, right? You should be able to capture the range of your tables, even though they are joined together. So you will see that this guy is null and is student ID 5. And it's true, because if you check your enrollment, there's no student ID 5 there, right? So when you check enrollment or student ID, which is this one, is null, you will fetch that value out. So you see that it's only this guy, student ID. And if you're interested in the ID of the student or the name of the student, you can just change it here to student name, as you know, and then you'll get the name of the student very quickly to David Kim. So, all right. So let me leave it like this, so in case you're watching the video. Any other question? All right. I know today will be quiet, as expected. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say they work the same way. Let me say they work the same way depending on which one. Yeah. So if you put left here and if you put a table here and then you put another one here and use a right join, and then you reverse it and then you use a left join, I think you'll get the same thing. So this question that you're asking, I love it. So practice it, check it yourself and confirm. That's the way to master it. So with that, that's all for tonight. Sorry, it was a quiet day. Joints. The silence is powered by joints. Well, I hope we'll have more exciting days ahead. When we do Power BI, I don't know, you guys will have fun a lot. All right, so thank you so much for tonight, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please ask on your Discord, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.